Nothing beats a full range of motion, but when your mobility is limited or you need to strengthen a weak point, it may be time to change things up. So try these exercise variations from strength coach Eric Bach.
The hang power clean is an incredible exercise. The reason is we still get a ton of force development and power, fast twitch muscle activation. Plus, we have the additional component of having a little bit more eccentric overload because of the catch phase of the hang power clean. Now, we want to break this down into two parts. The hang part essentially means we are coming directly from just above the knee or below the knee in that hip hinge position before driving up into triple extension. On the back end of that, we have the power position, which simply means we're catching up top versus low as in a full clean. Again, the benefit here, we can reduce the bottom range of motion where a lot of people mess up with their initial pull, both on things like a deadlift and a clean, and we can still create high levels of power output for central nervous system activation, fast twitch muscle fiber activation, all of that great stuff, while adding in the additional eccentric component that comes with the catch. Bottoms up front squat. Great exercise if you want to build incredible strength in the front squat while actually taking the stretch reflex out of the exercise. Because we come to a dead spot using these safety squat bars right here, we are forced to maintain tightness throughout the thoracic spine and anterior core. When we also do this while we're limiting the range of motion, we can train around any potential injuries or knee stress. So when we get in here, we want to be tight all the way through the movement, come to a complete dead stop, and then explode through the entire rep. This is an exercise where I like to load it quite a bit heavier. I'm talking 8 sets of 2 reps, 1 rep, with anywhere from 85 to 95+% of a 1 rep max. You won't be as strong as you would with a typical 1 rep max in a front squat simply because that stretch reflex is removed. However, this builds incredible strength when coming out of the hole, and you can easily manipulate the depth that you're going to go to based on the safety squat arms, and that way you can make it unique to the depth that you can take while maintaining optimal form. The band-resisted box squat is an incredible exercise. First, because we limit the range of motion that we are using. Right now, I'm just using an adjustable bench because that puts me right around 90 degrees. Again, at the very bottom range of motion, do we have more muscle activation? Yes, but we also tend to have more joint stress. And this is about having workarounds. We can still generate power and strength and muscle without as much joint stress. In addition to that, we've got the bands hooked up right here, and I'm just hooking mine up to 100-pound dumbbells because I don't have hooks in my squat rack. That's the way it is. And once we get going from that point, it's going to be about controlling that descent and not rocking back on our hips, but instead touching, staying tight, and then exploding through that range of motion. As we do that, we have the dynamic effort component with the bands because as the bands stretch, we create more resistance at the very top of the movement itself while creating a different type of progressive overload and better balance across the entire strength curve. The Bar Deadpull is an incredible exercise for building initial pulling power and stability through your trunk and posterior chain in a hip hinge pattern. Here's what it looks like. Instead of a typical deadlift where you're pulling all the way up, what you do, you get in your typical position here, get your great setup, core is locked into place, and then we're just going to pull to about mid-shin and hold that position for 3 to 5 seconds. Doing so builds incredible stability, typically where most people begin to break down with their technique. When you incorporate this directly into your training, not only will you build better strength directly off the floor, but you'll build better stability all the way through the kinetic chain. The trap bar hanging deadlift is also known as a 1.5 rep deadlift. What we do here is we get into the classic trap bar deadlift position, we perform a full rep, and then a half rep back down. We go to about the base of the knee, and then come back up top. Once again, this builds an incredible amount of tension and overall training volume to help overload the movement while taking away a little bit of stress when using the trap bar versus a classic barbell.
If you enjoyed this information, hit that like button to let us know. Plus, if you never want to miss another T Nation video again, hit subscribe and that little notification bell right next to it.